According to UNICEF's report in 2016 to 17, child marriage in Pakistan is 21%, which means 21% girls are married before the age of 18. 3% girls are married before they even turn 15. According to another report, 36% of all unions are either barter marriage or bride exchange in rural areas of Pakistan. Forced marriage is another common phenomenon among Pakistanis, where either girl or boy is forced to marry under the mental or physical torture or financial threat of the family. Reported cases of forced marriage in 2016, 1,145 women and 283 men. According to a study carried out by Human Rights Watch, it is estimated that 70 to 90% of the women have suffered from some forms of the domestic abuse. There are two major reasons behind all of this cruelty, brutality, and abuse committed against women. First, gender inequality, and the second, outdated misogynistic custom. And they both are very deeply embedded in the Pakistani culture. On the surface, men and women are equal. Are they really equal within the community in terms of choices, quality, and standard of life? Hell no. I'm talking about the majority, approximately 80 to 90% of the women population. For instance, can they go out with friends for a walk? No. Can they live a life of their choice? No. Can they marry a man of their choice? No. Can they do anything without the permission of their parents, husbands, or brothers? No. But they are equal. Yes, absolutely. As long as they remain under the wings of their parents, husbands, or brothers, and do exactly what they are told. Yes, they are equal. Majority of Pakistani men also believe that women are respectable, as long as they stay within the four walls, either their parents or husband's house. Terrorism is another important issue of Pakistan, with vast magnitude and international scale. According to a study, Pakistani society is becoming highly extremist for the past few years, which consequently result in terrorism. Radicalized hate material is the main reason behind extremism and terrorism. Watch this BBC's report.
In this state school 50 kilometres from Islamabad, 850 students start each morning reciting the Quran and singing the Pakistani national anthem. The school dates back to British colonial rule. Today's history lesson is about that era, the partition with India and the creation of Pakistan.
Caravans that were on the way to Pakistan were attacked by Hindus and Sikhs. Not a single Muslim was left alive in trains coming to Pakistan.
One by one, pupils read aloud from a textbook issued by the government.
Hindu narrow-mindedness and white conspiracies against us led to the need for this Islamic country, Pakistan.
I think Hindus are against Pakistan, against Islam. That's how they are. And even the British and the non-Muslims, they still oppose Pakistan.
Students are required to learn the scripts by heart. In many chapters, Hindus are referred to as gangsters, while Christians are described as violent crusaders.
That kind of hate material is still being taught in the schools, and it has been for the past 4 decades. And it is also widely accepted to be true. It seems like wrong has become new right. The purpose of such education is to put the blame on others. West, media, America, India, Israel, and almost everyone. Just imagine when you have 4 or 5 generations of people believing in the same radicalized ideology to be absolutely true. It is like a triggered bomb ready to explode at any time. Now the question is, do Pakistani people recognize the severity of situation and the extremist ideology which they are blindly following? Absolutely not. They claim to be peaceful. According to a study carried out by Pew Research Center, vast majority of Pakistani Muslim, approximately 80% Pakistani, say that suicide bombing and other form of violence against civilians can never be justified. At the same time, they carry extreme beliefs like 85% Pakistanis favor segregation of men and women at the workplace. 82% Pakistanis favor stoning of adulterer. Also, 82% Pakistanis favor whipping and cutting off hands for theft and robbery. 76% Pakistanis endorse the death penalty for those who leave Islam. Figures don't lie. Approximately 80% Pakistani people carry extreme beliefs like stoning, whipping, amputation of hands and other body parts. Terrorist organizations like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, and others believe in the same radicalized extremist ideology. If you believe in the same ideology as other terrorists do, the question is, what's the difference between you and them? There's a very thin line between peace and extremism, between right and wrong. It has to be recognized and distinguished. Now the problem is, either Pakistani people deny it or not really concerned about their extreme beliefs. Earlier I mentioned the word literature, and you have also watched BBC's report that literature used in the school textbooks is one of the major causes of extremism. And also this path of radicalism and extremism ends up only in violence, hatred, or terrorism. However, Pakistan education system has been making some changes for the past few years, but instead of any improvements, things have got worse. There are a number of reasons for that, but most importantly, books and medium of instructions have been changed into English. Now, what's the point of teaching the best quality material when it's not even understood? Children living in the far-off villages of different provinces are barely familiar with the national language. When you provide them books in English other than their native or local language, then expecting a change in their behavior and attitude would be absolutely nonsense, ridiculous, and preposterous. It will never happen. That's how Pakistan education system has been dumping plethora of foreign fundings into waste. I'm not going to go in the details of discussing the flaws in the education system of Pakistan. Just a general overview to make my point that Pakistan education system is very deeply invested in the conventional type of Pakistani nationalism and religion, and Pakistan's superiority over other culture, religion, and civilization, showing and proving Pakistan as a victim in every possible scenario, which results in judgmental ideology, judging other culture, religion, and civilizations with a specific narrow-mindedness that every civilization has some sort of inherent flaw which could only be resolved if people start believing and following Pakistan's ideology. When you teach radicalized hate material to your children at home, schools, mosques, then it would give an extreme direction to their behavior. Therefore, at this point, it does not remain a religious extremism anymore. This is the next level, where extremism is infused into the culture, which would result in extreme behavior and attitude of the whole society collectively. You cannot expect patience and tolerance from the people who have been brought up in the extremist culture. I'm going to show you two footages to make it more clear. A policeman slapping a female reporter on her face, and a politician couldn't control on his temper over some disagreement and slapping his opponent. There are many videos of slapping, and there's almost no limit on trash talk. Majority of Pakistani celebrities and TV anchors have been caught on camera while trash talking. The point is, you reap what you have sown. When you teach radicalized hate material, then it would only result in extreme behavior and nothing else. When I was studying the extreme social collective behavior, it led me to another serious issue of Pakistan: social and public manners. How to behave in public is nowhere to be found. I have traveled across Pakistan and visited many places. People very well know how to talk, but how to behave remained completely absent almost everywhere. For instance, people are carelessly throwing garbage at home, schools, streets, bazaar, roads, with absolutely no prick of conscience about the environment. If the garbage is biodegradable and could easily be decomposed, then it doesn't matter to some extent. But the problem is, it is comprised of substandard polythene plastic, which take hundreds of years to decompose and become part of nature again. Aside from the environment, plastic also causes hazardous impact on our lives, either directly or indirectly. I'm going to show you how it works. When you dispose plastic, sweeper comes and collects your trash and disposes somewhere else, which will ultimately destroy the same fertile lands where your food comes from and poison the same underground water reservoir what you drink. If you burn the plastic, it will pollute the same air in which you breathe in. Pakistan Environmental Protection Council conducted a study, and according to its report, in the early 90s, 12 billion plastic bags were produced in Pakistan. By the year 2007 to 8, the production went much higher than 55 billion per year. In the 2014 to 15, the rate was 112 billion plastic bags per year. There is a desperate need of putting a complete ban either on usage or production of plastic bags if we care a little about environment and our future generations. A few days ago, I was discussing the same issues with a friend of mine, and he said, Pakistan doesn't have any problem. I said, you're kidding, right? He said, no, because Pakistani people do not recognize any issue or problem. So there isn't any issue for them, at least for them. This is exactly the same problem with Pakistani intellectuals, who have a great influence over the mass population. But they are intentionally giving the heavy dosage of false hopes and delusions to the whole nation without even realizing the consequences. There are two things that they will do. First, deny it. Whether it's terrorism, extremism, women emancipation, child labor, and the list goes on. They will deny it. They will see Pakistan either a victim or everything is fine here in Pakistan. Secondly, they will question the source, that it is somehow manipulated or biased against Pakistan. What I tried so far is to stick myself to the facts and the most obvious conclusion drawn from it. However, restraining myself from adding my own personal views. Gender inequality, terrorism, extremism, education system, pollution, environment, all of them may seem random issues, and they are random if you study them separately, but in Pakistan's case, they are certainly not random. They are connected with one another. One is causing the other, and the other is affecting the next one. As a whole, it creates a cycle of self-destruction, which the whole nation is spinning it unintentionally, without even knowing that they are destroying themselves. And their intellectuals are deeply mired in the conspiracy theories and blaming everyone except themselves. The purpose of my video is to show you exactly where the problem lies. Separate efforts will never be successful without removing the underlying cause of it. Without seeing the whole picture, you cannot possibly comprehend the complexity of the whole scenario. Simultaneous efforts are needed, and then, and only then, there will be some possibility of success. Otherwise, you are just dumping your resources into waste. Like it or not, it is the truth, and it remains the same. And it will also aggravate with time until you rectify it.